The haunted camp. The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden hue across the sprawling expanse of Cedarwood Camp. It was a place where laughter intertwined with the scent of pine and the crackle of campfires. Yet beneath the jovial surface lay whispers of something darker, something that stirred when the light began to fade. As dusk settled, the campers gathered around the fire, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Jake, a lanky boy with a penchant for mischief, leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "You've all heard the story of old Man Fern, right? The one who vanished in the woods?" Maggie, a girl with bright red hair and freckles splattered across her cheeks, rolled her eyes. "Not this again. Everyone knows it's just a story to scare us." But Jake grinned, his eyes glinting with excitement. "But what if it's true? They say he still roams these woods, searching for his lost treasure. Anyone who finds it is cursed forever." The other campers shivered, not from the cool evening air, but from the thrill of fear that wrapped around them like a chilly blanket. As the flames danced, the shadows seemed to stretch and twist, giving life to the trees that loomed like silent sentinels. "Tell us more," urged Sam, a timid boy who was always the last to volunteer for ghost stories. Jake leaned in even closer, his voice dropping to a haunting whisper. "They say if you listen closely at night, you can hear him calling out for help. But it's a trick. If you follow the voice, you'll never come back." The fire crackled, and the campers exchanged nervous glances. They could feel the weight of the night pressing down on them, and the stories that once seemed silly now felt all too real. That night, as the campers crawled into their tents, the wind rustled through the trees, carrying with it a faint whisper that sent shivers down their spines. "Help me. Help me." It echoed through the darkness, a call that seemed to rise from the very heart of the woods. Maggie, unable to sleep, poked her head out of her tent. The moon hung high, casting an ethereal glow over the camp. She glanced at the trees, their branches swaying gently as if they were beckoning her closer. The voice grew louder, the words more distinct, weaving a web of intrigue around her heart. "Help me." Against her better judgment, she slipped out of her tent, the cool grass tickling her feet. She felt an inexplicable pull, as if the forest itself was guiding her. The other campers might have dismissed the stories, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the whisper twisted and turned, leading her to a clearing bathed in moonlight. There, in the center, stood an old, gnarled tree with roots that twisted like skeletal fingers. A chill raced down her spine as she approached. "Help me." The voice was clearer now, almost pleading. She knelt before the tree, her heart pounding in her chest. Who are you?" she called into the darkness. There was a rustle, and the air grew thick with tension. From behind the tree, a figure emerged, an old man with hollow eyes and a tattered coat, his face covered in shadows. "I am Fern," he rasped, "and I need your help." Maggie's breath caught in her throat. "What do you want?" "Find my treasure," he said, his voice barely more than a whisper. "It lies buried beneath the roots of this tree. But beware, for the curse that binds it will seek to claim you too." A mix of fear and intrigue coursed through her veins. "And if I don't? What happens?" The old man's eyes darkened. "Then your friends will be lost, just as I was." Suddenly the ground trembled, and shadows thickened around her. Panic surged, and Maggie stumbled back, her heart racing. I can't do this. Only you can break the curse," he insisted, his voice growing frantic. "You must choose. Just then the branches of the trees twisted and turned, creating a maze of darkness. Maggie turned on her heels, sprinting back towards the camp, guided by the distant flicker of the fire. She could hear the whispers growing louder, echoing through the trees. "Help me, help me." She burst into the clearing where her friends sat huddled together, eyes wide with fear. "You won't believe what I saw," she gasped, her breath ragged. "Old Man Fern is real." The campers exchanged terrified glances, the stories of the night suddenly taking on a life of their own. As they sat together, the winds howled outside, and the shadows danced closer, a reminder that some tales are rooted in truth. "Let's leave," Sam whispered, trembling. "Tonight." But as they gathered their belongings, the whispers crescendoed into a cacophony of voices, urging them to stay. The campfire flickered, sending sparks into the night sky, and somewhere in the distance a voice called out, both haunting and inviting, "Help me!" The campers froze, knowing that they had awakened something far more terrifying than they had ever imagined, and the summer camp was no longer just a place of laughter and joy. It had become a realm of shadows, where stories blurred with reality, and the night was alive with secrets waiting to be uncovered.